Welcome back to ABC General Hospital Spoilers channel. Today we will learn about the explosive developments that will shake Port Charles to its core over the next 2 weeks, from September 22nd to October 3rd, as secrets unravel and long-buried truths emerge to destroy everything residents thought they knew about their loved ones. Nathan's shocking return creates chaos. The most earth-shattering revelation begins when Drew Cain unleashes a series of calculated demands that will send ripples through every corner of Port Charles, while Nina Reeves finds herself completely unprepared for the emotional tsunami about to crash over her regarding Nathan West's impossible return from the dead. The intricate web of deception surrounding Nathan's survival becomes even more complex, as Britt Westburn battles an overwhelming sense of guilt that threatens to consume her entirely, suggesting she may have been harboring devastating secrets about Nathan's fate for far longer than anyone could have imagined. During the pivotal week of September 22nd to 26th, Anna Devane will become increasingly desperate to maintain absolute secrecy regarding the mysterious circumstances surrounding Nathan's miraculous survival and the shocking accident that supposedly claimed his life. The seasoned spy understands that premature revelation of Nathan's return could trigger a dangerous chain reaction that might endanger everyone involved, prompting her to issue strict confidentiality orders to Dante Falconeri, Elizabeth Baldwin, and Lucas Jones, warning them that any breach of silence could have catastrophic consequences. However, the explosive truth about Nathan's survival proves impossible to contain, as those who loved him most begin receiving fragments of information that paint an increasingly disturbing picture of betrayal and manipulation. Nina's world will completely shatter when she discovers that Nathan is somehow alive, triggering an avalanche of questions about the elaborate deception that kept them apart and the mysterious forces that orchestrated his disappearance. Her emotional breakdown will be devastating to witness as she grapples with the realization that someone deliberately allowed her to believe her beloved brother was dead. The revelation will prove equally traumatic for Liesl Obrecht, who must confront the impossible reality of yet another child returning from what she believed was certain death. The pattern of fake deaths and miraculous resurrections in her family will force Liesl to question everything she thought she knew about the enemies who have repeatedly targeted her children. Meanwhile, Anna's carefully orchestrated briefing with Felicia Scorpio will reveal the complex web of concerns surrounding Nathan's return, particularly regarding the psychological impact on young James West, who has already endured too much trauma for someone his age. Britt's dangerous game exposed. Britt's reaction to Nathan's crash reveals layers of deception that run deeper than anyone suspected, as her guilty conscience suggests she may have been complicit in the elaborate charade. From the beginning, the possibility that Nathan himself has been the mysterious puppet master, issuing instructions to Britt, opens up terrifying implications about the true scope of his secret agenda and the dangerous game he's been playing with everyone's emotions. If Nathan has been manipulating events from the shadows while allowing his loved ones to grieve his supposed death, his actions represent a level of psychological cruelty that will forever change how everyone views him. The potential for Nathan to awaken with selective or complete memory loss adds another layer of complexity to an already volatile situation, as it raises questions about whether his amnesia might be genuine or merely another calculated deception. The medical team treating Nathan will face the challenging task of determining what memories, if any, he has retained, while his loved ones struggle to understand how much of their grief and pain was unnecessary. Romantic entanglements and emotional revelations. In a surprising twist of the heart, Molly Lansing Davis finds herself surrendering to overwhelming feelings for Cody Bell, a development that catches even her off guard as she seeks guidance from Alexis Davis about navigating these unexpected romantic waters. Molly's emotional vulnerability creates a perfect storm of confusion and desire, as she attempts to reconcile her practical nature with the undeniable chemistry that has developed between her and Cody. Alexis, drawing from her own complicated romantic history, will provide both wisdom and warnings about following one's heart in a town where love often leads to devastating consequences. Drew's vengeful manipulation intensifies. Drew's character continues its descent into darkness as he prepares to exploit Monica's tragic death for his own twisted purposes, demonstrating a level of callousness that shocks even those who have witnessed his previous manipulations. His strategic timing reveals a calculating mind that views others' grief as opportunity, suggesting that Drew's transformation into a villain has reached a point of no return. The vulnerable state of the Quartermain family during their time of mourning provides Drew with the perfect cover for his next phase of revenge against Michael Corinthos. Drew's manipulation of the situation surrounding Monica's demise will likely involve forged documents, false witnesses, and other elaborate schemes designed to frame Michael for crimes he didn't commit. The depth of Drew's hatred for Michael has reached pathological levels, driving him to exploit even the most sacred moments of family grief for his twisted agenda. Martin's mysterious orchestration. Martin Gray's secretive phone call sets in motion a complex scheme that will introduce a dangerous new player to the Quartermain power struggle, as Monica's long-lost sister emerges from the shadows with her own agenda for claiming what she believes is rightfully hers. The legendary Erica Slezak's character brings with her decades of buried resentments and carefully planned revenge that will challenge Tracy Quartermain's authority in ways she never anticipated. Monica's funeral becomes the stage for family drama that extends far beyond typical grief, as unexpected rivals and shocking revelations threaten to tear apart what remains of Quartermain unity. Martin's discovery of Monica's hidden letter has unlocked secrets that were meant to remain buried forever, and the consequences of this revelation will reshape the entire family dynamic. Curtis and Jordan's complicated reconciliation. Trina Robinson's intense interrogation of Jordan Ashford reflects her deep concerns about the complex dynamics developing between Curtis and his ex-wife, particularly as Curtis faces his own challenging confrontation that will test his loyalty to both his past and present relationships. Trina's protective instincts toward Portia Robinson drive her to question whether Curtis and Jordan's renewed connection poses a threat to the fragile stability that Curtis and Portia have worked so hard to maintain. The revelation that Curtis and Portia's marriage is merely a carefully constructed facade, designed to deflect police suspicion in the Drew case, adds layers of deception that complicate every interaction between the three adults. Their pretense of marital harmony becomes increasingly difficult to maintain as genuine emotions and unresolved feelings surface at the most inconvenient moments. The looming threat of evidence. The week of September 29–October 3rd promises to bring devastating consequences for Trina and Kai Taylor as the baseball bat bearing Kai's fingerprints emerges as potentially damning evidence that could destroy his life. This physical proof of Kai's presence at Drew's residence transforms him from innocent bystander to primary suspect in what authorities believe was an attempted murder. The discovery threatens to unravel not only Kai's future, but also Trina's sense of security, as she faces the possibility of losing another person she cares about to the justice system. Drew's masterful manipulation of evidence and witnesses represents his most ambitious attempt yet to frame Michael Corinthos for crimes that Drew himself orchestrated. However, Drew's overconfidence may prove to be his downfall as unexpected complications arise to threaten his carefully laid plans. Jason's protective promise. Jason Morgan's unwavering commitment to protecting Michael from Drew's vengeful schemes adds another layer of intensity to an already explosive situation. Jason's promise to prevent Michael's return to prison carries the weight of their shared history and the understanding that some threats require extreme measures to neutralize. The confrontation between Jason and Drew becomes inevitable as their conflicting goals put them on a collision course that will have far-reaching consequences for everyone they care about. The Quartermain power struggle explodes. Tracy Quartermain faces her most formidable opponent, yet as Monica's mysterious sister arrives with legal documents and family secrets that could completely upend the established power structure within the mansion. Martin's behind-the-scenes manipulation of wills and inheritance documents suggests that this newcomer has been preparing for this moment for years, waiting for the perfect opportunity to claim what she believes was stolen from her. The battle for control of the Quartermain legacy will be fought with weapons, ranging from forged documents to long-buried family scandals. Anna's dangerous investigation. Anna's relentless pursuit of answers regarding Caesar Faison's potential involvement in the Nathan and Britt situation will lead her into increasingly dangerous territory. Her assumption that Faison's network continues to operate even after his death proves both prescient and perilous as she uncovers evidence of a conspiracy that reaches far deeper than anyone imagined. Despite warnings about the potentially lethal consequences of her investigation, Anna's determination to protect Port Charles from Faison's lingering influence drives her to take risks that could cost her everything. The connections between past and present crimes create a web of danger that threatens to ensnare everyone Anna cares about, making her investigation a race against time to prevent another tragedy. Her discovery of Faison's continued influence over current events in Port Charles will force her to confront the possibility that some enemies never truly die. Next, we will learn about the earth-shattering revelation that will completely transform Port Charles, as Ryan Pavey makes his explosive return as Nathan West, bringing with him secrets so devastating that they threaten to destroy everything his loved ones thought they knew about his supposed death 6 years ago. Nathan's harrowing survival unveiled. The shocking truth behind Nathan West's miraculous survival reveals a nightmare scenario that surpasses even the most twisted soap opera plotlines, as leaked spoilers confirm that the beloved detective has spent years enduring unspeakable torture within the sterile walls of Professor Henry Hank Dalton's clandestine laboratory facility. This sinister underground operation, shrouded in scientific secrecy and funded by mysterious international benefactors, has been conducting horrific experiments on unwilling subjects, with Nathan serving as one of their primary test cases for advanced psychological manipulation and physical endurance trials. The elaborate deception surrounding Nathan's 2018 death now appears to have been a carefully orchestrated scheme designed to protect him from Caesar Faison's remaining network of enemies, who had placed a substantial bounty on his head following his role in exposing their criminal enterprises. However, what began as a protective measure quickly transformed into a living hell when Nathan found himself trapped within Dalton's experimental program, unable to escape or contact his loved ones, who continued mourning his supposed demise. Intelligence sources suggest that Nathan's captivity may have been facilitated by corrupt elements within the WSB organization itself, with Pascal's shadowy influence extending far deeper into international intelligence operations than anyone previously suspected. The connection between Nathan's disappearance and the mysterious Five Poppies organization creates a web of conspiracy that reaches from Port Charles to the highest levels of global espionage networks. The Laboratory of Horrors, Professor Dalton's research facility, represents a convergence of cutting-edge medical technology and medieval torture methods, where Nathan has endured procedures designed to test the limits of human psychological resilience and physical adaptability. Witnesses who have escaped similar facilities describe sterile chambers equipped with advanced monitoring systems that track every physiological response while subjects are exposed to various forms of trauma designed to break down their fundamental personality structures. Nathan's prolonged exposure to these experimental conditions has likely resulted in profound changes to his mental state, potentially awakening dormant genetic predispositions inherited from his villainous father Caesar Faison. The psychological conditioning he has undergone may have systematically dismantled the moral compass that once guided his heroic actions, replacing his natural protective instincts with a calculating coldness that mirrors his father's most dangerous characteristics. Medical experts familiar with such programs warn that subjects often emerge with fragmented memories, altered emotional responses, and a tendency toward manipulative behavior that can make them extremely dangerous to those they once loved most. Nathan's return to Port Charles may therefore represent not a joyful reunion, but rather the introduction of a sophisticated predator who possesses intimate knowledge of his former friend's weaknesses and vulnerabilities. Britt's parallel nightmare. The revelation that Britt Westburn has been simultaneously trapped within the Five Poppies organization adds another layer of horror to this unfolding conspiracy, as she has been forced to utilize her medical expertise to assist in the very experiments that have tortured her half-brother. Her captivity has involved a different form of psychological manipulation, where she has been coerced into participating in atrocious medical procedures under threat of harm to the patients she is supposedly treating. Britt's recent erratic behavior, including her sudden hostility toward Jason Morgan and her inexplicable emotional outbursts regarding seemingly innocent topics like Rocco Falcone's name, now makes perfect sense as desperate attempts to maintain her cover while secretly communicating her distress. Her knowledge of Nathan's survival and her inability to reveal this information to their mother Liesel Obert has created an unbearable psychological burden that has been slowly destroying her mental stability. The siblings' shared trauma has forged an unbreakable bond between them, but it has also created a dangerous codependency that could prove fatal if their escape attempts fail. Their combined medical and law enforcement knowledge makes them valuable assets to their captors, but also provides them with unique skills that could facilitate their eventual liberation if they can coordinate their efforts effectively. The daring escape plot. Nathan's breakout from Dalton's facility represents a culmination of months of careful planning and strategic patience, as he has methodically studied the laboratory's security protocols. While maintaining the facade of a broken and compliant prisoner, his escape may have been facilitated by an unexpected alliance with a rogue WSB operative, who has discovered the true extent of Pascal's corruption and decided to take action against the conspiracy. The timing of Nathan's escape coincides suspiciously with increased pressure on the Five Poppies organization from international law enforcement agencies, suggesting that his liberation may be part of a larger operation designed to expose and dismantle the entire network. However, this coordinated effort also means that Nathan and Britt's flight from captivity will likely trigger a massive manhunt that could bring deadly consequences to Port Charles. Intelligence reports indicate that Pascal's organization has activated sleeper agents throughout the northeastern United States, with specific instructions to eliminate Nathan and Britt before they can testify about their experiences or reveal the locations of other secret facilities. This means that their return to Port Charles may inadvertently transform their former home into a battlefield where innocent residents become collateral damage in a war they never knew existed. Maxie's vulnerable state. The cruel irony of Nathan's return becomes most apparent when considering Maxie Jones's current comatose condition, which leaves her unable to experience the joy or shock of discovering that her presumed dead husband has returned from the grave. Her medical crisis creates a complex emotional landscape, where Nathan's presence could either provide the psychological stimulus needed to awaken her consciousness or could prove so overwhelming that it triggers further neurological complications. Damien Spinelli's carefully planned proposal to Maxie, which he intended to present upon her awakening, now faces devastating complications as the legal reality of her continued marriage to Nathan creates insurmountable obstacles to their future together. The revelation that Maxie remains legally bound to Nathan will shatter Spinelli's dreams and potentially destroy the stable family environment he has worked so hard to create for James West. The psychological impact on young James West adds another tragic dimension to this situation, as the child has finally begun to accept Spinelli as a father figure only to discover that his biological father has returned under circumstances that may make him more dangerous than protective. Nathan's potential transformation from hero to villain could traumatize James in ways that might require years of therapy to address. The ripple effects through Port Charles. Nathan's return threatens to destabilize numerous relationships throughout Port Charles, as his former friends and colleagues struggle to reconcile their memories of the noble detective with the potentially dangerous man he has become. Dante Falcone's position becomes particularly precarious, as his professional obligations as a police officer may conflict with his personal loyalty to his former partner if Nathan's behavior suggests criminal intent. The broader community's reaction to Nathan's return will likely divide along emotional lines, with some residents expressing joy at his survival while others question the circumstances surrounding his prolonged absence and the potential dangers his presence might bring. This division could create fertile ground for manipulation by Pascal's agents, who may exploit community tensions to create chaos that serves their larger agenda. Law enforcement agencies throughout the region will need to reassess their security protocols, as Nathan possesses detailed knowledge of police procedures, witness protection methods, and investigation techniques that could prove devastating if he has indeed been compromised by his captivity experience. His intimate familiarity with Port Charles' criminal underworld, combined with potential new allegiances forged during his imprisonment, makes him an unprecedented security threat. The uncertain future. As Nathan and Britt navigate their dangerous journey back to Port Charles, they face the dual challenge of evading their pursuers while attempting to reconnect with loved ones who may no longer recognize the people they have become. Their survival depends not only on their ability to stay ahead of Pascal's operatives, but also on their capacity to convince their former allies that they remain trustworthy, despite the profound changes they have undergone. The ultimate question facing Port Charles residents is whether Nathan's return represents salvation or damnation for a community already struggling with numerous threats and conspiracies. His knowledge of his captor's operations could provide law enforcement with valuable intelligence needed to dismantle the broader conspiracy, but his potential psychological instability could make him more dangerous than the enemies he seeks to expose. The coming weeks will test every relationship Nathan once held dear, as friends and family members must decide whether to embrace the man he has become or mourn the hero they have lost forever.